Welcome to Fantasy Fanfiction, Ancient Martial Ancestor. Chapter 1. Quick, stop it. Get the rocks ready, hit him to death. In a large mountain of hell, a group of people, either naked or wearing leaf and animal skins, holding stones, sticks and other weapons, surrounded a huge beast and continued to attack. However, the beast did not surrender, and kept running rampant with its huge body. The beast's body is huge and its strength is naturally very strong. Humans have to dodge every collision. But not all humans are so lucky. Sometimes they have to fight wild beasts if they can't escape. But how can the human body compare to the beast's? It's more like being hit than a hard fight. Roar. The beast saw more and more wounds on his body, and realized the danger, and kept roaring. Bang. A strong man was accidentally hit by a wild beast. Suddenly, the big man seemed to have been hit by a truck, and his whole body flew up. And immediately spit out blood. Rain. The other worried and angry big men quickly pulled him aside. Leave me alone, kill this beast quickly. This is the tribe's ration today, don't let it escape. The man named Yu stretched out his hand to push away his companions, pointed at the beast and shouted anxiously. Don't worry, we have the methods taught by martial arts. This beast will never escape. The other big man did not leave, but stayed closely by Yu's side. This is what martial arts taught him: no matter what the circumstances, he should never give up on his companions. Because the human race is weak and limited in number, every companion is precious. Originally Yu was still struggling, but thinking of Wu's magic, he was very surprised and said nothing more. Wu, this is the wisest and smartest person in the tribe. What he said must be true. From the bottom of my heart, I have great trust and respect for Wu. Wu, you did a good job. At this time, a big man wearing animal skin came over, patted the big man guarding Yu and praised him. This big man is different from ordinary big men, less barbaric and ignorant, more intelligent and wise. His body is not as strong as other big men, but his figure is very well proportioned. This person is what they call Wu. Wu, it's great that you are here. This beast will never be able to escape now. Seeing Wu's arrival, both Wu and Yu were very happy. As long as Wu comes, no beast can escape. This has been proven over time. And beasts mean food, which means that fellow tribesmen no longer have to go hungry. They don't know why Wu Wei is so powerful, or why he is different. However, they believed Wu. In fact, Wu is not from this world. In his previous life, he was a martial artist named Tang Wu who was obsessed with martial arts. How obsessed are you? He was so obsessed that he spent his whole life practicing martial arts from childhood to adulthood. As long as he heard of a master somewhere, he would definitely visit and learn. 20 years of training not only allowed him to learn a lot of martial arts, but also understood the true meaning of martial arts. Martial Dao is not just for physical fitness, it represents protection and self-improvement. The moment Tang Wu understood the true meaning of his martial Dao, he disappeared silently and came to this wild world, becoming the current martial artist. He has been here for 2 years and has a certain understanding of the world. This is the prehistoric world. Tang Wu knew it very well, because he saw the statue of Nuwa in the tribe and knew their origins from other people. These people were the first human race created by Empress Nuwa, and he was one of them. But he was seriously injured and died, and was taken over by Tang Wuju and became the current Wu. Knowing that he was in a prehistoric world, Tang Wu was both excited and scared. This is a prehistoric world where great gods roam the earth and little immortals are no better than dogs. If you are not careful, you may be buried in the belly of some wild beast. But he is excited because this world is a paradise for martial artists. However, he knew that the human race was in trouble, and its growth path was difficult and tortuous, full of thorns and ups and downs. I will use what I have learned to protect the growth of the human race. This is the goal Tang Wu has given himself in his heart, and it is also his responsibility. So in the 2 years since he arrived, he not only worked hard to practice martial arts, but also taught his martial arts and some knowledge to his tribe. Because a race cannot be sustained by just 1 or 2 strong people. Only when all the people are strong and everyone is like a dragon can they stand firm. But first, although heavenly human race is strong and has an extraordinary physique. But he is too ignorant and lacks knowledge. Even with Tang Wu's teachings, it still takes a long time to learn. It is difficult to change in a short period of time. But we still have time. I believe that the human race will definitely become the most powerful race. Tang Wu looked up at the sky, feeling serious in his heart. The mother of the human race, Nuwa, has become a saint and opened the snail palace in the chaos outside the world. Now she is no longer able to protect the human race. But Tang Wu believed that even without the blessing of any great god, the human race could still stand firm and become the strongest race. Because the human race is constantly striving for self-improvement. There is endless joy in fighting against the sky, and there is endless joy in fighting against the earth. Although Tang Wu knew that even without him, the human race could still become the protagonist of the world, but there were too many sufferings and too much blood shed along the way. So, he wants to change this situation. Wu, you take you and retreat to a safe place first. I'll take care of this beast. Tang Wu patted Wu's shoulder, then strode towards the rampaging beast. Wu Jun is so powerful, I wonder when I will be so powerful. Watching Tang Wu walk towards the beast, Wu said with envy and longing. In his heart, Wu is the most powerful person. One day we will be this strong, Wu said. Yu said with determination. Yes, we will definitely be this strong. Wu also had perseverance and persistence on his face. Okay, can you take me away first? Yu's face changed and he said with a smile. Oh. Wu's face turned red, and she quickly put Yu on her shoulders, and then ran away into the distance. Looking at that speed, I'm afraid it can't compete with the Mustang. Fortunately, Yu is one of the first humans in innate and has a strong physique. Otherwise, if it were a modern person, even if he was not hit to death by a wild beast, he would still be knocked to death by him. Ignoring these two funny words, Tang Wu had already rushed to the side of the beast. No nonsense, just fly up. Get out of the way, Baji Iron Mountain. Tang Wu was like a bulldozer, charging ferociously towards the raging beast. Although the prehistoric world was a time when great gods roamed the land and celestial immortals were not as good as dogs, all living beings were much more powerful than their counterparts in later generations. But not all beings can become immortals or demons, or can cultivate the Tao. Without cultivation techniques, it would be difficult for ordinary beasts to become monsters and spirits. Although there was abundant spiritual energy at the beginning of opening heaven, and the world was filled with special energy that could enlighten spiritual intelligence, the chances of ordinary beasts opening spiritual intelligence were much greater than in later generations. But there are still a large number of beasts that cannot activate spiritual intelligence. In fact, there is nothing special about beasts that have not opened their intelligence, except that they are physically stronger than their counterparts in later generations. Unless you open your spiritual wisdom and enter the stage of spiritual practice, it is truly beyond human power. And obviously, this beast has not opened up his spiritual wisdom, let alone practiced it. Boom. Tang Wu stepped closer to the beast, raised his body and twisted his waist, and his shoulders shook quickly and briefly. Suddenly, a huge and frightening power was transmitted from his body to the beast's body. Click. The beast's sternum immediately made a cracking sound, and its entire chest collapsed. Boom. Then, the beast's entire body was blown away. Before it even hit the ground, it lost its ability to resist. Although it is not dead yet, it is already a turtle in the urn. It is worthy of being a beast from ancient times. Its vitality is really strong. It did not die immediately after being injured like this. Looking at the beast that was still alive, Tang Wu sighed inwardly. His close contact just now broke the beast, including its sternum and internal organs. If placed in the previous life, any beast would die immediately. The only animals that can survive having their internal organs crushed are insects and other lower animals. However, the beast is still not dead. Moreover, the internal organs are still healing slowly. If given enough time, they may be able to recover. But unfortunately, Tang Wu and his tribe would not give him a chance. Take it and the injured tribesmen back first, and the rest will continue with me. Tang Wu directed his tribesmen to divide the work and cooperate, and let the injured tribesmen go back first. In the past, those who were injured would still hunt. But what is the result? The result is death. Because they no longer have the ability to fight, how can they survive fighting against wild beasts? This resulted in a large number of unnecessary deaths among the human race. But now that Tang Wu is here, it is naturally impossible for this situation to happen again. Those who are injured must be treated and must not be sacrificed in vain. Okay, let's listen to martial arts. The injured person did not insist, and happily followed the prey and the uninjured person back. If it were before, they would rather die than go back. Because in their eyes this is cowardice and a disgrace. Moreover, if the injured person does not hunt, not only will he not be able to contribute to the tribe, but he will also consume the tribe's few living resources. This made them prefer to die rather than become a drag on the tribe. But now, they are willing to listen to Tang Wu. Because of their admiration for Tang Wu, they thought Tang Wu was right. Let's continue. We must store enough food. Tang Wu watched some people leave with their prey and injured tribesmen, and continued to move forward with a big wave of his hand. Previously, Empress Nuwa created a total of 129,900 human beings, a total of 1 yuan. 49 of them were forged with hard work, and 2,951 were pinched with one's own hands. The rest is made of the human creating whip dipped in the 9 heavens breathing soil. Naturally, those 49 people were the strongest, followed by 2,951, and the rest were the weakest. And Tang Wu, as a named person, is naturally one of the 49 people. Because of this, the 129,600 people were divided into 49 tribes, with each tribe having between 2,000 and 3,000 people. Among them, Tang Wu's tribe is the smallest, with less than 2,000 people. Normally everyone is equal, not even Tang Wu has any privileges. Just like hunting, Tang Wu must participate. The vigorous hunting continues, but because of Tang Wu's participation, the hunting speed is much faster. They had caught enough game before it got dark. Come back to the tribe and share it with everyone. However, they are still consuming their hair, drinking their blood, and eating them alive. It's not that Tang Wu didn't want to cause trouble, but the time didn't come. We must speed up the development of the tribe and the human race. Otherwise, how can the human race compete with the 2 lich tribes in the next time? Let alone compete, they are not even qualified to resist. Once their army comes to the border, the human race may not even be considered cannon fodder. Come on. After eating the food, Tang Wu was secretly anxious. He knew that when the human race first came out, the prehistoric era was at a critical moment in the struggle between the lich and the witch for hegemony. And later, in order to break the powerful witch body of the witch clan, monster race went so far as to frantically sacrifice human blood to refine the witch-slaying sword. In the novel I read in my previous life, that period really left the entire human race in ruins. Rivers of blood flowed, and there were heavy casualties. The human race is shrouded in sadness and fear, which is not what Tang Wu wants to see. For the development of the human race, force is absolutely indispensable. But if we want to develop force, we must first make sure that everyone has enough food and clothing to live and work in peace and contentment. To do this, we don't care about food, clothing, housing and transportation. Tang Wu quietly thought about the way forward. Empress Nuwa created the human race, but she did not teach the human race how to practice. Even the later Taiching Saint Li Renjiao did not truly educate the human race, and did not pass down any practice methods. Not to mention explaining the teachings and intercepting the teachings, they are even more indifferent. Even if they use humans to become saints, they naturally regard humans as just a stepping stone. After they became saints, no one cared about the life and death of the human race at all. Therefore, the human race must be self-reliant, because the human race can only rely on itself. Although he possesses martial arts skills, he doesn't know how far martial Dao can go and whether he has enough ability to fight against a lich. And the most important thing is that the human race has not inherited it yet. Without inheritance, all the knowledge and experience of the human race may be lost at any time. So inheritance is also the top priority of the human race. Tang Wu raised his head, knowing what he should do. First of all, the people must be fed and clothed. Only by having enough food and clothing can the people have the energy to do other things. Such as practicing, such as thinking. Let people learn to think, and mankind will burst out with infinite power. Of course, this alone is not enough. Humanity still needs to pass on knowledge. Only by passing on and accumulating knowledge from generation to generation can the human race become stronger and stronger. Unlike the lich and lich races, the human race has the memory of blood inheritance. Therefore, the human race needs another inheritance method. Word. After understanding what he had to do next, Tang Wu started to take action. Food, clothing, housing, transportation and inheritance. Naturally, food, clothing, housing and transportation are the top priorities. If you don't have enough food and clothing, and you don't have enough warmth, even survival is a problem, then how can you talk about development? The first thing to solve is the food problem. There must be enough food. Regarding this point, it is also very simple in the eyes of modern people. Planting, breeding, fishing and hunting are all possible. Not to mention hunting and fishing, the first thing to plant is to have seeds. Don't look at the wheat, rice, corn and so on in later generations, which are very common. But in the prehistoric world, this is something that can only be encountered. Moreover, these grains were not like this at the beginning. The grains we see now have been cultivated from generation to generation. Just like corn, regardless of its origin, even its appearance is not like this at the beginning. Corn started out with very small seeds and cobs that were not even edible as food. Later, after cultivation, we have the corn we have now. Although this is not necessarily the case in the prehistoric world, it is still not easy to obtain. At least after 2 years here, Tang Wu found no edible food. Then collect wild fruits and edible seeds first. Tang Wu thought. Most of the seeds of plants are edible. Take the common foxtail grass, for example. Its seeds can be eaten as flour if crushed. The author is from a rural area and guarantees that it is 100% edible. But the taste is very bad. However, due to production, taste and nutritional reasons, it cannot be used as a staple food. But now, it can also be used as a supplement to insufficient food. So, Tang Wu went out into the wild and started looking for edible seeds. The first thing I saw was the foxtail grass. This plant was very common in both the previous life and the prehistoric world. However, Tang Wu did not collect them. On the one hand, there were many of them and they could be collected at any time. On the other hand, it is not Tang Wu's ideal food. Its seeds are too small and taste too bad. Unless absolutely necessary, Tang Wu is not willing to let his tribe eat the seeds. Later, Tang Wu discovered a lot of seeds. Although Tang Wu also collected a lot, he was not very satisfied, until this is primitive millet. Tang Wu's eyes widened, and he was dumbfounded at the handful of yellow-orange plants in front of him, half as tall as a man. When it comes to millet, many friends in cities may be a little confused. But what about Xiaomi? That's right, millet is millet, also known as liang or ji. Ji is the grain in Zhongshan Sheji. From the grain to the grain, it is the growth of hundreds of grains. Ji refers to millet. Equating millet with the country shows the status of millet among ancient people. Strictly speaking, millet also belongs to Setaria genus, but it is just a different species of Setaria genus. Its taste, yield and nutrition are much stronger than those of ordinary foxtail grass. Therefore, it has been the main food of Chinese civilization for a long time. Okay, that's great. With corn, the human race's food is no longer a single animal. Tang Wu was very excited. This not only meant that the human race had another thing to eat, but also that the human race the food source will be more stable and the nutrition will be more balanced. Although animals are delicious, eating meat alone is not very good for the human body because there are many nutrients needed for life. Moreover, hunting is full of too many uncertainties. Sometimes it is very possible to be busy for a whole day and not be able to catch a single prey. Moreover, that's it if it was in the previous life. But in the prehistoric world, animals are all descendants of the monster race. If they are hunted on a large scale, they may offend the monster race. Today's human race does not have the power to fight against the monster race. Therefore, we can only try to reduce conflicts as much as possible now. That kind of quarreling with heaven and earth, and being tough when you come up is not allowed. After finding millet, Tang Wu couldn't wait to catch all the seeds. After that, I searched for a long time and finally stopped after filling up a whole animal skin. Although the seeds are heavy, Tang Wu's mood is happy. After returning to the tribe with a heavy load of seeds, Tang Wu locked himself in a cave. That's right, humans still live in caves now. There is nothing we can do about it. Building a house seems simple now, but it was very difficult in primitive society. Without enough materials, building a house is difficult. The only things that can be used to build houses now are stones and trees. But how do you collect or cut stone? how do you cut down trees? The human race does not have such conditions. Because the current human race cannot refine metal, let alone metal equipment. But now it seems that we must teach humans to build houses and weave clothes. Tang Wu thought secretly while using stones to shell the corn. Shelling corn is not easy, especially without the right tools. But Tang Wu was very patient. He took the trouble to gently crush the shelled corn, and his eyes were shining as he watched the grains of corn fall out of the shell. However, as the corn shelling progressed, many tribesmen gathered around curiously. Looking at the naked tribesmen around him, both men and women, and feeling that no one had their own privacy, Tang Wu decided to teach the tribesmen to build houses and weave clothes after getting the corn. Today's human race all live in caves, but how many caves are there? How big is it? How many people can live there? Moreover, the cave is dark and damp, which is very unfavorable for human habitation. Therefore, it is imperative to build houses, which is why the sages and the ancestors of humanity created these. Weaving clothes is a delicate job, and the current human race does not have such conditions. However, Tang Wu only taught them simple weaving, and he believed that the humans could learn it. The first heavenly human race was definitely smarter than those who came after. It's just because of the lack of knowledge that he appears ignorant. It took Tang Wu 2 full days to shell all the corn, and he only got about 100 kilograms of corn. However, Tang Wu is already very satisfied. After the house is built and clothing is invented, he can continue to collect. Next, let's start with building a relatively simple house first. Tang Wu stood up, full of longing and expectation for the future. Building a house is not easy, especially for the newly born human race. Not only were the materials difficult to obtain, but the structure of the house was also difficult to understand. But it's easy to say it's simple. Because the human race does not need an overly gorgeous palace now, all it needs is a place to hide and shelter from wind and rain. This is not difficult for Tang Wu. So Tang Wu gathered all the tribesmen and told them to do work. People, our tribe is getting bigger and bigger, and there are more and more people. However, the caves are limited, and it is difficult to meet our needs. Moreover, there are differences between men and women, and it is inconvenient for everyone to live together. So I decided, move the people out of the cave. Tang Wu stood on a high place and said to the humans below. His words suddenly made everyone explode. Not only was everyone talking, but everyone was worried. Wu, do you want to abandon some of the old, weak, sick and disabled? One of the humans asked worriedly and angrily. His concerns were justified because this had happened before. At that time, everyone was not separated yet, and some injured or disabled people would be abandoned because of insufficient food and housing. There were even some disabled humans with desperate looks in their eyes. Because they know that being abandoned in this world means death. But the current human race cannot accept such a decision. Because Tang Wu told them never to give up any clan member. This has been deeply rooted in their hearts and has become their common understanding. So even if Tang Wu said that he wanted to abandon some people, he would not agree. Not only this tribe, but other tribesmen also disagree. We must never abandon our tribe. We have the responsibility to protect every tribe member. Yes, even the disabled clan members are our relatives. We will never abandon them. Takaru, you can't do this. Everyone was excited to prevent Tang Wu from abandoning his people. Seeing them like this, Tang Wu felt very relieved and happy. This proves that his teachings had a huge impact on the human race. If this knowledge can be passed on forever, it will be a blessing for the human race. Tang Wu raised his hand to signal everyone to quiet down. I'm very happy to see everyone so united. Our purpose is not to abandon or give up any of our tribe members, and I certainly won't. The disabled, the old and the weak are all our heroes, and they have all contributed to the survival and continuation of our tribe. They have made huge sacrifices and contributions. So not only should we not abandon them, but we should also protect their lives. What I mean today is not to abandon the tribe, but to give the tribe a better life and place to live. Tang Wu was full of heart without pride. This is what the human race should do. A better place to live. What is that? Is there a bigger cave? Yu asked doubtfully. He trusted Tang Wu the most, and he never believed that Tang Wu would drive some people out. But due to limited knowledge, he could not understand Tang Wu's thoughts. Yeah, what exactly is it? Wu scratched his head, with a confused look on his face. Wait, you will know soon. Come with me. Tang Wu waved his hand and led the human race towards a jungle. He first struck the rocks to get some sharper stones, and then began to cut down the trees. There is nothing we can do about it. The current human race does not have the conditions to refine metals and make metal tools. Maybe those immortals can easily refine law treasure, but they have no idea how to refine metals, let alone the newly born human race. Due to the strong physique of the heavenly human race, the strength was much stronger than that of the later generations. In addition, Tang Wu practiced martial arts for 2 years in the prehistoric world with abundant spiritual power. So even if the tools were only stones, he quickly cut down a lot of trees. Then Tang Wu trimmed the tree slightly and took people to move the tree back to the cave. Then the trees were driven into the ground side by side to form the most basic wall. After it was surrounded on all sides, Tang Wu used trees to build a roof. In this way, a simple house structure comes out. But this is not suitable for people to live in, because not only can such a house not be frost-proof, it cannot even provide basic protection from wind and rain. So Tang Wu asked people to collect hay and put it on the roof so that it could be protected from rain and water. But this is not enough because the walls of the house are not yet windproof. But this can be easily solved. Tang Wu used branches to build a layer outside, and then applied a thick mixture of mud and crushed grass to the outside of the branches. In this way, the house becomes fully functional. Seeing the house finally taking shape bit by bit, the people in the tribe were very surprised. Especially the rain and fog. I can't wait to get in. This is a cave made by Wu, a cave where people can live. Yu shouted excitedly, because this house is so similar to a cave. Really? We can build our own holes too. That's great, so we don't have to look for a cave. Takaru, you're amazing. Everyone was as excited as a child and had no idea of a house in their minds. But looking at something like a cave, they instinctively knew what it was for. So, all the people started shouting Tang Wu's name loudly. Wu, Wu, Wu. Everyone shouted from the bottom of their hearts, representing their gratitude and admiration for Tang Wu. Looking at the smiling clan members, Tang Wu also smiled from the bottom of his heart. It's a contentment and a heartfelt joy. Everyone stop. Tang Wu shouted loudly. As Tang Wu shouted, everyone stopped. Because they knew that Tang Wu had something to say. People, this is a residence we built ourselves. But it is not a cave. It can be built by all of us anytime and anywhere. No one can deprive us of our right to live, and no one should deprive us of our right to live. Next I will name this house. Tang Wu announced the name of the house loudly. In the past, the rich had properties all over the place, but ordinary people had no place to stand. Not even a tile or an inch of land belongs to ordinary people. In this life, Tang Wu hopes that everyone will have their own place to live. Only when you live in peace can you work and work happily. If you don't even have a place to live, talking about GDP and rapid development are all nonsense. Not only is it false, it's also hypocritical. And as Tang Wu officially named the house, the sky was filled with thousands of rays of light, and a black and yellow air condensed in the sky. There are only 2 kinds of black and yellow power in heaven and earth. One is the black and yellow energy of heaven and earth, and the other is the power of heaven and earth's merits. The Xuanwang Qi only existed at the beginning of opening heaven, when the world was born. Taiching Laozi's exquisite Xuanwang Pagoda of heaven and earth was born from the Xuanwang Qi and the power of innate merits during the opening of the ancient world. After that, it is impossible for Xuanwang Qi to appear again. Therefore, the dark and yellow air in the sky must be the power of innate's merit. Tang Wu knew very well what it was and why it appeared. It is because he created a house for the human race that he was rewarded with merit from heaven. The human race is the destined protagonist of the future, and every move he makes is watched by heaven. In the original prehistoric times, the Yuchao clan of the human race created a house, and the deeds from heaven directly became the great principal golden immortal. Become a human race with great merits after the 3 sovereigns and 5 emperors, and become the 3 great human ancestors together with the Mieni clan and the Suiran clan. His achievements are no less than those of the 3 emperors, and his status is even higher than those of the 3 emperors. You can imagine how great the merit of building a house is. The black-yellow merits in heaven and earth are boundless, so great that everyone is frightened, and even many great gods look sideways. The first one to be discovered was the ancestor Hongjun, who took the form of Tao integration. After all, his body is in harmony with the Tao, and he is one with the Tao of heaven. He is the Tao of heaven. Therefore, as a reward from heaven, he was naturally the first to discover it. The human race actually built a house now. It's too early. Ancestor Hongjun thought and immediately started to deduce. He is one with the way of heaven, and the evolution of the way of heaven cannot be hidden from his deduction. So in an instant he discovered the anomaly. It turned out to be something strange from heaven and earth. Strange numbers in heaven and earth talks about life that is not within the way of heaven. Because when the grade is 50, the sky is 49, and people can escape one of them. Everything has a glimmer of hope, and nothing is completely doomed. Otherwise, the prehistoric world would not be able to develop. After all, everything is determined, so who is going to fight? There are actually quite a few exceptions, and they exist in every period. So he just paid attention casually and didn't delve into it deeply. Moreover, the appearance of Tangwu accelerated the evolution of the world. How could he punish Tangwu before he was happy? Following closely behind Patriarch Hongjun is the already sanctified Nuwa Empress. After all, Saint also entrusts the primordial spirit to heaven, and they can clearly feel the movement of heaven. This is also the reason why if you don't become a saint, you will end up as an ant. I actually created the human race, and heaven actually bestowed upon them such huge merits. From this point of view, as long as the human race does not cause huge damage to the world, there is no need to worry about annihilation. Empress Nuwa was also very pleased. Although she is not a human race herself, she created the human race after all. She is the holy mother of all races, and the human race also respects Nuwa Empress as the ancestral holy mother. So it's impossible to say you don't care at all. It's just that her status is awkward, so she can't do much for the human race. But no matter what, she is the virgin of the human race. At this time, she was naturally relieved to see that the human race was basically free from the disaster of genocide. Afterwards, some other quasi-saint level great gods also discovered the merits sent from heaven. Including Sanqing, the shameless duo of the West, Emperor Jun and Tai of heaven, Zhen Yuanzi and other apex-level quasi-sage gods in the prehistoric era. A small human race can actually gain merit from heaven and earth. What ability do they have? Dongwang Tai said with a gloomy expression. The merits of heaven and earth are something that everyone covets, and no one has too much. Haven't you seen that Nuwa, the Empress, became a saint through merit? If some great gods had gained so much merit, although Dongwang Tai would be jealous, he wouldn't feel too uncomfortable. But what are the virtues and abilities of the human race? He actually gained so much merit. These merits are 1/10 of what he and Di Jun achieved in establishing the monster race heaven. Second brother, don't talk nonsense. How can you and I discuss the rewards of heaven? Besides, this human race was created by Nuwa, and it has some connection with my monster race. Don't make mistakes. Emperor Jun was calmer than Dongwang Tai. After all, he is the heavenly emperor of monster race. So although his face was not very good looking, he did not look like Dongwang Tai. Sanqing, who was meditating, also opened his eyes at this time. This human race has achieved great merit, why is my heart palpitating? Taiching Laozi murmured to himself. When he reaches this state, his mind is as stable as a rock, and there is basically no such instability. Unless it really concerns you. Also call it a whim. Therefore, he immediately fell into the deduction. But as the protagonist of destiny, the human race is not the time to emerge, so it is still protected by heaven. Even Empress Nuwa is not considered the future of the human race, and the Sanqing who have not yet become saints is certainly not included. Therefore, Taiching Laozi, who gained nothing after the deduction, had no choice but to give up and enter cultivation again. Empress Nuwa has already become a saint. As the orthodox Sanqing of Pangu, it is already very shameful to be sanctified by Empress Nuwa, so he does not have so much time to pay attention to a newborn race. The other Western shameless duo, Zhen Yuanzi and other great gods only paid a little attention and then went off to do their own things. After all, the human race is still too weak. As a nascent race, and still pitifully weak, it can be said that any race can wipe out the human race. Therefore, it is not worth their efforts at all. All the great gods no longer paid attention to the human race, and the merits of heaven and earth finally dropped after a long period of accumulation. Boom. The merits of heaven and earth were first divided into two, half of which fell on Tang Wu, while the other half was equally distributed to everyone in the Tang Wu tribe. After all, they were all involved in the process of building Tang Wu's house. Naturally, they all have merit. As the merit fell, Tang Wu's cultivation level increased linearly, and in the blink of an eye, he condensed immortal physique and became celestial immortal. At this time, there is still a lot of merit left, but Tang Wu is not ready to use the merit to continue to improve his cultivation. Because he has not cultivated immortal law at all, the improved cultivation level at this time has no meaning at all. His current improved cultivation level is like a pile of sand dunes, while those with cultivation methods are like tall buildings made of concrete. Although the height is the same, there is no comparability. Therefore, he condensed his merits into the golden wheel of success and stored it behind his head. The advantage of this is that no one dares to kill him easily. After all, not everyone can bear the karma caused by so many merits. And if you consume merit to improve your cultivation, then it is really not worth the gain. Tang Wu benefited the most, and everyone else in the tribe also benefited a lot. After all, so many merits are enough for someone to become the great principal golden immortal. Although Tang Wu took away half of the points, the remaining merits were enough for one to become Tai golden immortal. Even if these 2,000 people are divided equally, they will all become earth immortal. For a time, the strength of the Wu tribe increased greatly. I drank so much today that I just woke up feeling groggy. Please bear with me if this chapter is not well written. Chenshu will continue coding and try to add another chapter or two. Close double angle bracket. However, although the humans of the tribe have become earth immortals, they do not have any divine ability, nor can they use any magic power. There is basically nothing special about it except that its strength has become much greater and its lifespan has also become longer. Tang Wu knew this very well, but he was helpless because he didn't even have the method to use the magic power himself. Therefore, he condensed most of his merit into the golden wheel of merit without improving his magic power. He even planned to refine all his celestial immortal level mana into martial Dao True Qi. However, for other tribesmen, Tang Wu did not require all of them to practice martial Dao. They could also practice immortal Dao if they could get the training methods in the future. After all, he himself didn't know how to take martial Dao's future path, and he was still confused and groping. The martial Dao in the previous life was still too simple for prehistoric people. In martial Dao, in fact, the most important thing is the spirit, not the cultivation method. What does martial Dao represent? It is protection and self-improvement. So it doesn't matter what kind of cultivation method you use. It's just that Tang Wu was obsessed with martial Dao, so he didn't give up and wanted to stick to it. The Wu tribe gained great merit and everyone benefited. But things are not over yet, because Tang Wu still has skills to teach. People, I will teach you how to weave and make clothes next. Tang Wu wanted to solve the problem of food, clothing, housing and transportation at once. But food will have to wait, because the season for planting corn is now over, and we have to wait until next year to sow the seeds. But clothes are needed without delay, because winter is coming soon. Without clothes, countless humans would freeze to death in winter. However, at this time, the human race was not suitable for more complicated weaving methods. It was not only a matter of technology and knowledge, but also the current human race did not have those tools. Nothing is achieved overnight, you have to take your time step by step. The cloth Tang Wu taught the humans to weave was very simple and could not even be considered cloth. He asked everyone to collect some tree bark or relatively resilient grass and plant bark. After all, this also has great merit. He wanted all the tribesmen to receive the rain and dew equally. After collecting it, Tang Wu kneaded it to make it soft, and then weave the simplest cloth using the method of weaving a straw mat. Then I dug a hole and put it on my body, and it became the simplest clothing. Coupled with animal skins, humans can achieve basic warmth. When I have the opportunity, I can improve the quality of the fabric and the style of the clothes little by little. After all, what we want to do now is to prevent the tribesmen from freezing to death, not to look beautiful. As Tang Wu made cloth and clothes, heaven once again sent down merit. The merits this time are no less than the last time. After all, food, clothing, housing and transportation are the basic needs of human beings. In the original prehistoric times, the Junni clan, like the Yuchao clan, was one of the three ancestors of the human race. This is not over yet. In order to let the tribesmen eat healthy food, he also taught the tribesmen to drill wood and make fire. Moreover, he told the human race the purpose and usage of fire. You must know that the role of fire is very powerful. It not only allows human beings to eat cooked food, but also avoids eating hair and drinking blood. It can also be used by humans to keep warm and drive away wild beasts, further improving the survivability of humans. But because of this, he finished the work of the three ancestors by himself. Every time he completes something, heaven will send him merits, and the merits are almost the same every time. The continuous rewards for meritorious deeds make even the quasi-sages jealous. Even Dongwang Taiyi was so angry that he almost cursed. Because in his opinion, the human race is completely unqualified to obtain merit. How can a race as humble and weak as ants be qualified to receive a reward from heaven? But Tang Wu didn't know these things, and he wouldn't care if he did. Why bother with this guy who is destined to withdraw from the stage of history anyway? Anyway, the merit has been reduced. With the two waves of merit coming again, everyone in the Wu tribe has basically reached the level of celestial immortal. And Tang Wu injected all the merits into the golden wheel of merit, making the golden wheel of merit even more dazzling and massive. But for such a thing, Tang Wu is not willing to do it unless it is absolutely necessary. Because this is stealing merit from the human race itself, causing the race to lose the birth of three human ancestors. But there was nothing he could do about it. He didn't want to see his people without food and clothing, suffering from cold and hunger. But in the future, he will try to do as little as possible to rob his own people of their merits. If you want to compete for merit, you must also compete with other races. House, clothes, fire. The Terrans cheered, they could feel the effect of these things on them. From now on, they can be called real people, not savage species like other beasts. People, we have clothes to keep warm, houses to live in, fires to keep warm, and cooked food to make. But other members of our tribe don't have it yet. I hope you can bring these to other tribesmen. Tang Wu stood on a high place, to the humanity of all martial tribes. He created these not just for a tribe, but for the entire human race. Now the people of the Wu tribe have benefited, but other tribes must also enjoy these results. Okay, let's go tell the other tribesmen. Yes, let's work separately. Let all the tribesmen live in houses, wear clothes and enjoy fire. People today are still very united, without the insidiousness, cunning and selfishness of later generations. They are willing to share their best with their tribesmen. Willing to help tribesmen and get a better life. Okay, then I'll group you into groups, and you'll go separate ways. Tang Wu said, and began to divide the 2,000 tribesmen into 48 groups. Because all races are divided into 49 tribes, excluding the Wu tribe, there are still 48, so they must be divided into 48 groups. In order to be safer, the number of people must be as large as possible so that they can cope with the wild beasts and crises encountered on the way. For this reason, Tang Wu had to send all the clan members to the police station. However, the current human race cannot count yet and has no concept of numbers. The grouping is still done by Tang Wu. After dividing the groups, Tang Wu assigned tasks to each group, which group went to which tribe. Fortunately, the number of humans is not large now, and the tribes are not far apart. Otherwise, even if the clan members are now celestial immortals, Tang Wu would be really worried. After all the clan members left, Tang Wu, who was left alone, began to practice. The first thing he had to do was to refine his mana into martial Dao True Qi. Everything, start over. Quote, practicing martial arts is different from cultivating Taoism. Those who practice Taoism must sit quietly and think often, and follow the way of heaven. Although there are ways to practice to improve your magic power, enlightenment is the foundation. If one cannot understand the way of heaven, even if one's magical power is overwhelming, both body and soul will surely perish. Because the inner demons alone are enough to make the ascetic step into the abyss and never even be reincarnated. But the catastrophes faced by ascetics are not just inner demons, but also various catastrophes. including heavenly tribulations, earthly tribulations, human tribulations, and even measured tribulations and immeasurable tribulations promoted by heaven. For example, the earliest ferocious beasts, the later innate clan of dragons, phoenixes, unicorns, and the current two lich clans, which one is not the most majestic? Which one is not extremely powerful? There are also demon Ancestor Luahu, Ancestor Yin Yang, Ancestor Chenkin and even Hongyun who has obtained primordial violet chi. They are all peerless strong men with boundless magic power. But what about the result? All turned into ashes under the calculation of heaven. Of course, martial artist is not without its disasters, and there may even be more disasters. After all, there is no martial Tao yet, and a new thing that appears will definitely suffer major tests. However, martial Tao's cultivation method is different from those who practice Taoism and immortality. Because to practice Taoism, you need to sit quietly and think often, and obey the Tao. But the martial artist takes the body as the foundation and opens up the treasures of the body. Therefore, the martial artist must exercise his body, which is something that ascetics, especially those in the prehistoric period, would not do. Martial Tao. When cultivating, you must first cultivate your body, and the first thing you should do when cultivating your body is focus and conduct. In other words, the first task of practicing martial Tao is to cultivate the body. The most important thing in cultivating the body is physical strength and shaping a perfect body shape. The perfect body shape here is not about the appearance, but the inner state, which is to cultivate the body to be perfect, without dirt or leakage. The human race, especially the first batch of human races created by Nuwa, were all based on the prototype of Pangu. In fact, there were very few loopholes. This is also the reason why human beings are not born ignorant like other creatures and can possess spiritual intelligence without any training. But no matter how few loopholes there are, they still exist. After all, the human race is not the real Pangu. The first thing martial Tao did in practice was to make up for these loopholes. It is said that the way of heaven is to make up for the deficiencies when there is more damage. No matter what method you practice, you are practicing the way. Therefore, deficiencies must be made up. Tang Wu dispersed all the magic power and flowed to the limbs and bones. Then Tang Wu immediately stood up and began to practice martial arts, absorbing the dispersed mana into his body, then making up for the shortcomings and transforming his body. Martial arts is actually different from what everyone understands. It is divided into training methods and fighting methods. Training is to improve the fundamentals of the body and experience strength, while fighting is the way to fight the enemy. For example, Tai Chi, which is controversial on the internet, does it really have no actual combat capabilities? It has been hundreds of years since its birth. If it had no actual combat capabilities, it would have been picked by others long ago. You must know that in the past, in order for the sect to survive, it was commonplace to challenge and be challenged. Without actual combat capabilities, you simply cannot survive. But it has survived for hundreds of years, which fully proves its practical capabilities. Moreover, China has survived thousands of years of war and has remained standing. Is its actual combat capability a joke? It's just that now, greed is so great that there are too many fake masters. In fact, those fake masters don't even know how to practice or what Tai Chi is. In fact, it is divided into Tai Chi frame, Tai Chi middle frame and Tai Chi small frame. Among them, Tai Chi frame and middle frame are exercises that allow you to experience the connotation, philosophy and flow of power of Tai Chi without any possibility of actual combat. Of course, small frame is not a fighting method, but the last stage of training. However, the small frame can meet the challenge with slight changes. To truly practice Tai Chi frame is just the beginning. Then the middle frame and small frame are advanced step by step, and you can only get started when you really master the small frame. Only when you have thoroughly understood Tai Chi's small frame can you be considered to have mastered Tai Chi. But at this time, I still don't have much practical ability, and I have to figure out how to fight before I can be considered a Tai Chi master. Right now, we are still 180,000 miles away from the master. Therefore, it is really a big joke that some people on the internet dare to say that they are masters after practicing Tai Chi for a few days. It can be said that I didn't even get started. But after all, strength is still fundamental. Tai Chi uses softness to overcome hardness, but it is also very hard when it is hard. Tai Chi's main attack method is the hammer, and you can tell its nature from the name. Moreover, martial arts fighting methods are not routines, but attack concepts and techniques in martial arts. For example, with a cannon hammer, the user can use the cannon hammer to attack this time, and the next time it can be a cannon hammer. One move at a time. Are you afraid that others won't know what your next move will be? If you really dare to do this, I guarantee you will die peacefully. Moreover, sometimes the fighting style may not even be the moves in this martial art. As long as the time is right, it can be a tortoise punch or a donkey roll. The most important thing about martial arts is the concept and its fighting philosophy. The essence and philosophy of Tai Chi is the combination of speed and slowness, the appropriate movement and stillness, and the use of minimum effort to accomplish maximum things. One animal is very suitable to describe it, that is a turtle. Turtles are usually slow, but once they attack, they are very powerful. If you are slow all the time, what's the point? How do you really think others won't hit you? Of course, Tang Wu does not practice Tai Chi, nor any boxing method on earth. Instead, he created it by combining what he had learned and the concepts of many martial arts around the world, which he called Tianq Gong. It means cultivating the defects given to the human body by God. Tang Wu's movements are very weird, and many of them even go against the common sense of human body structure. But he played very seriously and moved smoothly. Sometimes fast, sometimes slow, combining movement and stillness. Sometimes as slow as a snail, sometimes as fast as thunder. Boom, boom, boom. As he practiced, various sounds came from his body from time to time. Sometimes it's like drums, sometimes it's like thunder, sometimes it's like a tiger or leopard roaring. And every time a sound came out of his body, the spiritual energy between heaven and earth would send out a wave of fluctuations, and the scattered mana BQP would burrow into his body defects. Martial arts, which could only strengthen the body in the previous life, finally revealed its capabilities in the prehistoric times. Heaven's lack of power truly begins to make up for the shortcomings God has given to the human body. Bang bang bang. One move after another, the tiger and the leopard thundered. Some of the natural defects in his body began to shrink little by little. Until one day we can be dust-free and achieve a leak-free body. However, Tang Wu himself has been transformed into a mortal physique by the power of merit, and his physical defects are actually very few. Coupled with the celestial immortal level of mana used for training, his body made up for all the deficiencies he knew in just 1 month. What you have to do after that is to train your body and unlock the treasures of your physical body. Only by opening the physical treasure can the martial artist truly gain the power of martial Tao. To unlock the treasure of the physical body, the first thing to do is to train the muscles, bones and skin externally, and completely condense the body into a Vajra body from the inside out. It has been 3 days since the new book was uploaded, and there are indeed very few updates. But there is no way. The custom here is that no party is complete without wine. Whether you are going to a relative's house or a relative coming to your own home, drinking is indispensable. So I drink every day in a daze, sometimes even completely confused. Therefore, Chenshu was also helpless. But please rest assured, as long as these few days pass, Chenshu updates will be available soon. Close double angle bracket. On the one hand, exercising the body is to improve the body, including strength, physical strength and other aspects. On the other hand, it is also about exercising your body and tempering your willpower. After all, only strong willpower can move forward bravely and overcome any difficulties, obstacles, difficulties and setbacks. Body refining is actually soul building. There is a saying that goes well, steel and iron bones forge the soul of an army. The same goes for practicing martial arts. Practicing steel and iron bones is also forging a martial spirit. The soul of martial artist. Improve body strength and strengthen body strength. This is the first thing to do. After all, one effort can defeat 10. Tang Wu's Tianq Gong can make up for physical defects and improve strength, but strong pressure can speed up this process. Although you can take advantage of the body's treasures in the late stage, it is better to go through huge pressure in the early stage. Just like Tang Wu, after he made up for his physical shortcomings, he began to strengthen his muscle strength and strength. What he did was to run with big rocks on his back, do push-ups, and all kinds of other methods that would be intolerable to ordinary people. If ordinary people in previous lives practiced like this, they would have been useless long ago. After all, the intensity was too great. For example, the rock he carries on his back is as big as a car. Ordinary people would just burp your butt. But Tang Wu is now a celestial immortal, and the 2 years of training have not been in vain, and they have made up for the shortcomings of the physical body. This weight was nothing to him, and he even felt it was a bit too light. He is now trying to figure out how to put more pressure on his body. He is not afraid of getting hurt now, because there is still a lot of mana dissipated in the body that has not been refined and used. It would be great if we could find ways to increase the pressure, or have treasures that could increase physical strength. After a period of practice, Tang Wu, who felt that his physical strength was slowly increasing, sighed from the bottom of his heart. In fact, in the prehistoric world, there are many treasures and medicinal materials that can improve physical strength, but unfortunately Tang Wu does not know them. Although there is no separation between medicine and martial arts, all he knows are medicinal materials from previous lives, and there are too many medicinal materials from ancient times that he does not know. Therefore, he did not dare to take it rashly. There's no other way. Let's use the scattered mana to slowly polish it now. Tang Wu was helpless about this situation. He couldn't be allowed to imitate Shenong and taste the herbs, right? However, it is not slow to polish the body with the dispersed mana and absorbed spiritual energy, it just lacks a little training. Another month passed, and Tang Wu's dissipated mana had been completely consumed, and a lot of spiritual energy had been absorbed, finally raising his body to a point where it could no longer be raised. A whole celestial immortal level of mana has been refined into his body, and he has also absorbed a lot of spiritual energy, which is used to strengthen his body's strength and strength. You can imagine what level his body has reached now. But although Tang Wu's body can no longer improve, he is still not satisfied. He still feels that his body can make further progress. Movement and stillness are between heaven and earth, and relaxation is the way of civility and martial arts. The body has no leakage, the mind has no boundaries, and there is no end. Tang Wu suddenly realized that he was too persistent. Since we have reached the limit now, there is no need to push too hard. Even if it is improved a little bit, it actually doesn't mean much to the whole. Moreover, once you break through the present and enter the next realm, your strength will naturally increase again. Thinking of this, Tang Wu relaxed. The physical body has been condensed, and the next step is aperture opening. The so-called aperture opening is not about making the brain smarter, but about opening the body's acupoints. Aperture opening, the first thing to open is the dantian point. Because the dantian is the source of hidden essence and the foundation of strength. Only when the dantian is opened can power be counted as rootless duckweed, and power can be continuously provided to the body. Some people describe dantian as a spring of life, which shows its importance. There are many ways to open the dantian, such as nourishing it with spiritual energy, using mana to open it, and using elixirs, etc. What Tang Wu chose was to let it open naturally through martial arts movements. The dantian is a very magical place located 3 inches below the navel in the abdomen. In other words, all the acupoints are very magical and have their own abilities. Moreover, any acupoint is infinitely small and infinitely large. This is a very mysterious thing, which can be described by the Buddhist saying that 1 flower and 1 world, 1 leaf and 1 bodhi, and sumaru hidden in mustard seeds. Taoism also has a similar saying, although it is small on the outside, it is endless on the inside. Diamond body of steel and iron, flawless body and lightness. An inch of dantian hides the heaven and earth, and all living beings have all kinds of gods. Tang Wu stood with his feet together, twisted his waist and raised his hips, and hid his head behind his back. Immediately, his body made a dull clicking sound. Then he saw endless auras rushing towards Tang Wu's dantian area. If someone could see it, they would find that a small hole opened in his dantian, and the spiritual energy penetrated into the dantian through this small hole. With the continuous infusion of spiritual energy, the passage in dantian became larger and larger, until it was fully opened after an hour or 3. Boom! Tang Wu was shocked as his dantian was completely opened. Then, a huge and rich essence emerged from the dantian. This is the essence of life and the source of strength. With the emergence of this essence, his power, which had stopped improving, was increasing rapidly. Almost in the blink of an eye, his strength doubled. Of course, this essence is completely consumed at this time. However, it was only this force that was completely consumed. There is still a steady stream of energy flowing out of the Dantian, but the speed is much slower than before. The Dantian is a source of water, a natural source of energy. And with a steady stream of life essence, his power will continue to increase. This is the beauty of opening the Dantian. Martial Dao means constant self-improvement. The constant flow of Dantian also symbolizes the spirit of martial Dao. Tang Wu completed the body casting and now opened the Dantian of the body. He has completely entered the door of martial Dao practice. Today's power combined with immortal physique is definitely comparable to Earth Immortal. After that, just continue to hit the aperture opening and condensing acupoints. In the prehistoric world, there is basically no division of realms as before among immortals, because it is too easy to become an immortal in the prehistoric world. First of all, the aura of the prehistoric world is surprisingly abundant, and the current life base is very high. In addition, the law and the great Tao are more prominent. Basically, the monster race incarnations have the strength of immortals, and even the lowest level witches of the witch clan can abuse celestial immortal at will. The previous 3 clans of dragon, phoenix and unicorn had even more powerful bloodlines and were born as immortals. As long as he reaches adulthood, he will basically not be lower than Tai scattered immortal. Therefore, no one has ever thought about the realm before immortals. Not a fairy. What is that? But Tang Wu had heard about the division of realms by people on Earth in his previous life. From low to high there are Qi refining soul formation, soul refining anti-void, and void refining Dao integration. After void refining Dao integration, you can achieve Earth Immortal. After experiencing the world of mortals and completing the merits, ascension can become celestial immortal. In fact, according to the state of cultivation, Tang Wu is just in the stage of refining Qi. Because he is now the essence that refines Dantian. However, unlike the cultivators who refine essence and Qi, Tang Wu did not refine the essence into true Qi, but used it as a driving force to promote the evolution of the body. But no matter what, he is still at a stage similar to refining energy. However, because his body absorbed the celestial immortal mana, coupled with the celestial immortal body, his strength is no weaker than that of Earth Immortal. His level of refinement is comparable to that of Earth Immortal, which shows how powerful he is. Immortals are divided into Earth Immortal, Celestial Immortal, Tai Scattered Immortal, Tai True Immortal, Tai Golden Immortal and Great Principle Golden Immortal. Originally, Tang Wu had already achieved Celestial Immortal, but he resolutely refined Celestial Immortal's mana and achieved the state of Martial Dao. Although it is a pity, it shows his sincerity to Martial Dao. The clan members should be back soon. I wonder how they are doing. After opening up his Dantian, Tang Wu stopped practicing hard. It's not that he is slacking off, but that he should relax after practicing for such a long time. Combining work and rest, and relaxing is the way of civility in martial arts. And according to his calculations, the tribesmen should return one after another. When the time comes, he will still build houses and weave clothes with his tribe, and he will have plenty of time to practice in the future. Sure enough, on the 3rd day of Tang Wu's rest, the tribesmen he sent out began to come back one after another. Tang Wu worked with them to build houses and weave clothes. Fortunately, the lowest members of the Wu tribe are Earth Immortal. Otherwise, building a house would be really troublesome without tools. But the lowest level of the Wu tribe is Earth Immortal, and even if they don't know how to use it, they are still much more powerful than ordinary people. Although there were no tools, the house was built quickly. Basically every day, a person can build a simple house. Don't talk about modern houses. What Tang Wu teaches is very simple, as long as it can protect against wind and rain. Soon, almost all the 48 groups were back, except for one group that went to the Thunder tribe. However, the Thunder tribe is relatively far away, and there are more people there, so teaching may be slower. So Tang Wu didn't pay too much attention to it at first. After all, the human race was still under the protection of heaven, so there shouldn't be any big problems. But after waiting and waiting, none of them came back, and Tang Wu couldn't sit still. Is something really going on? Thinking of this, Tang Wu told his tribe members and immediately headed to the Thunder tribe. The Thunder tribe is located in the far east of all races, close to the east coast. The Wu tribe where Tang Wu lives is not only the farthest, but it is also one of the relatively distant tribes. Even with Tang Wu's power comparable to that of Earth Immortal, it still took 10 days to get close to the Thunder Tribe. But before officially entering the Thunder Tribe, Tang Wu felt a solemn atmosphere. The entire Thunder Tribe was silent. If it weren't for the breath of life, one would think it was an empty tribe. However, Tang Wu was slightly startled when he saw the Thunder Tribe who had built a wall, but he soon smiled. He only taught the humans how to build houses, but he didn't expect the Thunder Tribe to think of building walls so quickly. Sure enough, the human race is indeed the most creative race. The human race cannot compare with the beasts in terms of strength, and cannot compare with the two lich races in terms of cultivation. But why can humans become the protagonists of heaven and earth? Because it's smart. No, the two races of lich and witch are successful in cultivation and also very smart. The main reason is that humans have unparalleled creativity. I am Tang Wu, the leader of the Wu tribe, let Lei come out. Tang Wu shouted under the wall. In fact, with his cultivation level, he can jump over such a wall with one leap. But he didn't do that. After all, these are also his own people. Wu, it's really the leader of Wu. When the people from the Wu tribe who were assisting on the wall saw Tang Wu, they were overjoyed and opened the door for Tang Wu to enter. As soon as Tang Wu entered the Lei tribe, Lei, the leader of the Lei tribe, came over in a hurry. Wu, it's great that you can come at this time. Lei said happily while sighing, but he couldn't hide the worry deep in his eyes. What happened? Why is the Thunder Tribe so prepared? Tang Wu asked without any nonsense and went straight to the point. That's what happened. Lei sighed when he heard Tang Wu's question, but the human race at this time would not lie at all, so he slowly told the reason. In fact, the reason lies in the houses and walls. Originally, the Thunder Tribe lived here, and no race cared about them. But as they built walls and houses, some smart humans actually invented fishing tools, and the Water Tribe was unhappy. Originally, whether you humans were hunting or picking, it had nothing to do with them. But you invented fishing tools, isn't this aimed at our aquarium? As a result, some shrimp soldiers and crab generals took the opportunity to attack and threatened to destroy the human race. Fortunately, those shrimp soldiers and crab generals were not strong enough, and with the help of dozens of Earth Immortals from the Martial tribe, we were able to defeat those shrimp soldiers and crab generals. However, because of this, their trip was delayed. After all, they all understood from Tang Wu that the human race must never abandon it and cannot abandon any of its members. Therefore, they have not gone back now. That is, to help the Thunder Tribe. What? Such a thing could happen. The Shui tribe is going too far to bully others. Tang Wu became furious upon hearing this. Wu means protection. Tang Wu's wish is to protect the human race. Wu's spirit is to move forward and strive for self-improvement. Being bullied like this, Tang Wu naturally couldn't just sit idly by. Let's go meet the Shui tribe and see what they are capable of. If they really want to bully our human race, we will never give up. Tang Wu stood up and was about to go out. This is not because Tang Wu is arrogant or self-righteous, but because he really has the confidence. If facing Monster Race Heaven or Wu Clan, Tang Wu might not be so tough. After all, moving forward bravely does not lead to self-destruction. Be brave when you should be brave, and be timid when you should be timid. The one who can be big and small is like a dragon, the one who can bend and stretch is a big man. But facing shrimp, soldiers, crabs, generals and even dragon race, Tang Wu doesn't think the human race needs to be patient. It's not that dragon race is weak, on the contrary, even after experiencing the catastrophe of the 3 clans of dragon, phoenix and unicorn, dragon race is naturally very strong. Although it is not as good as the current monster race heaven, it is by no means a weakling. However, dragon race can be tough for Tang Wu for some reasons. Tang Wu followed Lei and took the Earth Immortal of the Wu tribe to the east coast. Maybe the shrimp soldiers and crabs will have just been beaten back soon, so the east coast is calm now. Listen to the Donghai tribe, I am the leader of the human tribe's Wu tribe. Let your dragon king come out and see me. Tang Wu summoned all his strength and shouted at Donghai. In fact, Tang Wu's strength is pitifully weak compared to dragon race and even ordinary aquatics. However, he has the confidence. However, Tang Wu did not force his way into the East China Sea because his strength did not allow him to do so. However, he believed that the Donghai tribe or Zunhai Yaksha would bring his words to the Dragon King of the East China Sea. HMPH, this little human race is really brave. How dare you make such a big fuss in the East China Sea? Sure enough, as Tang Wu finished speaking, many shrimp soldiers, crab generals, and even patrolling yaksha appeared on the surface of the East China Sea. Who gave you the courage to challenge me, Donghai? You let the Dragon King see you, who do you think you are? Patrolling yaksha held the five-pronged sea-splitting flame fork in his hand and pointed at Tang Wu contemptuously. That's right, don't think that just because you are a race created by Nuwa, you can do whatever you want. In this world, the last word is that you have a big fist. Just your human race, who are you? That's right, how can our Dragon King be something that your little human race can just imagine and see? If you don't know your own abilities, you don't know whether to live or die. After patrolling yaksha finished speaking, the shrimp soldiers and crab generals below also agreed, not hiding their disdain for the human race at all. Because they don't need to hide, the human race is nothing in their eyes. HMPH, I advise you to shut up immediately. If you really have the guts, come up and fight to the death with my human race. Tang Wu snorted coldly. However, his words startled Lei, and he immediately pulled Tang Wu's clothes and signaled him to stop talking. Others don't know the strength of the Taoist tribe, how can he not know it as a tribal leader? If they really fight with the water tribe, the human tribe will be wiped out in minutes. But Tang Wu didn't care, because he knew very well that these water tribes didn't dare to go ashore to attack the humans. Because the Aqua tribe is different from other places, all matters must be approved by the Dragon King or Dragon race. The last time the Shui tribe caused trouble, it was probably because of the Dragon King's instructions. Of course, if someone wanted to take action against the Aqua tribe, that would be another matter. After all, the water tribe can't be beaten and not fight back. So Tang Wu didn't take action. It wasn't because he couldn't distinguish priorities. This little human race is too hateful. When the Dragon King gives the order, I will immediately crush the human race. Tang Wu's words made the shrimp soldiers and crab generals unbearable, and they all expressed their intention to kill all the human race. But they still dare not take action because they have not yet received instructions from the Dragon King. Has General Shark, who reported to the Dragon King, returned? Patroller Yaksha's complexion turned livid, and he asked the shrimp soldiers and crab generals behind him in a deep voice. Not yet, but I think it will come soon. Just as he was talking, General Shark came back. However, there was a man in front of him with sword-shaped eyebrows and starry eyes, who was extremely imposing. This man is heroic, handsome, and has eyes that shine like stars. Moreover, he is surrounded by immortal energy, and you can tell at a glance that it is not simple. The pair of dragon horns on his forehead show his identity as Dragon Race. Your Highness, that is the human race. General Shark bowed his head to the man, then pointed at Tang Wu and others. Originally, the man didn't care. After all, the human race was too weak in his eyes. He just glanced at Tang Wu casually, and his attitude immediately changed. Ao Fan, the eldest prince of the Dragon King of the East China Sea, has met this human race fellow Taoist. I wonder if fellow Taoist has come to our East China Sea to give me some advice. The man immediately announced his family name, and his attitude was very kind, not arrogant at all. Dragon race is all proud, because Dragon race was once extremely glorious. Even if they withdraw from their dominance as the protagonists of the world, their strength is still strong. If another dragon prince came over, this situation would not happen at all. But Ao Fan was different. He had experienced the great catastrophe of Dragon, Phoenix and Unicorn, and witnessed the rise and fall of the powerful three clans of Dragon, Phoenix and Unicorn. He was still an ignorant little dragon at the time, but the tragic battle was still fresh in his memory. But the reason why he has this attitude towards Tang Wu is not because of this, but because of the vast and bright golden wheel of merit behind Tang Wu's head. After experiencing that catastrophe, he knew very well the role of merit. How powerful was Dragon race back then? But the loss of merit caused the loss of luck, so that he was almost exterminated. If it weren't for his two ancestors, Azure Dragon and Candle Dragon, I'm afraid Dragon race would be over. But even so, Dragon race also paid a huge price. The Azure Dragon forever rules the east end of the world, the Eye of the Sea, and the Candle Dragon controls day and night for the world. This saved Dragon race from genocide. So when he saw the golden wheel of merit behind Tang Wu's head, his attitude changed. Because the merit is so vast, half of the merit of the three ancestors of the human race can be said to be immeasurable. Although it can't be compared to dragon race in its heyday, it is definitely not what dragon race can afford now. If Tang Wu is really killed, dragon race may be wiped out in an instant. Even if dragon race doesn't kill Tang Wu can defeat dragon race. For example, if Tang Wu attacks dragon race, he will self-destruct as soon as dragon race fights back. This karma will still be attributed to dragon race. And if dragon race doesn't fight back, it will just become a lamb to be slaughtered. No matter what, you will suffer a loss. There is no way, who made dragon race's merit and luck so weak now? If it were before the great calamity of the three clans, he would not have cared about this merit and karma at all. But today is different from the past. That's why he is so kind. Yes, this is why Tang Wu is so confident in facing dragon race. If it were monster race heaven, Tang Wu wouldn't be so tough. Because now the luck in the monster race heaven is booming, and being in charge of the heaven is even more meritorious. Even if he were killed, it would have little impact on heaven. But dragon race doesn't have the confidence to bear this kind of karma at this time. Ao Fan. But when Tang Wu heard the name Ao Fan, his heart suddenly moved, and he thought of the information about this Ao Fan in his previous life. Thanks for watching. Subscribe and support my channel.